Hello, let's write some code for a Google Cloud function which will download something from the Google Cloud storage and then process it and then upload it back to the Google Cloud storage, right? So to create a function, you have to click this button, and once the settings appear, you have to choose your settings. For example, for environment, choose first generation, write the name of your function here, the region you want to select, and then we have this trigger. So trigger means how will your function run. So there are many options. Right now we're going to go with HTTP, but I will try to do another video on Cloud Pub Sub as well, right? So for HTTP, what we mean is we will have a link, a URL, this one, and we will put that in the browser and run it. So once we do that, our function will run. One more thing is you have to allow the unauthenticated invocations if we want this function to run with HTTP. But right now I don't have this setting. You have to set it by setting the permissions for your service account, and do that and then save this function, and then we will go in the editing, the writing the code part, right? Save it, and then next. Here we will write the code. We will choose the runtime environment, which we are going to keep as Python. So this is the newer version. I'm going to go with Python 3.9. This is your main file. You can delete this and start over. We will do that. And this is basically our entry point. So let's say if I write main here, I will write a definition, main, and then I'm going to write my code in here. Okay, so for this function, I don't have the authentication right now. I'm going to use a previously created function and we'll write code in that. Let's see. So this is how you create a cloud function. I'm going to use this previously created function because I have unauthenticated allowed for this. So I'm just going to use this to write the code. You can write the code in the function you just created. There is nothing else going on here. Okay, so let's clear this code up. And first of all, let's see. This is the runtime environment. This is main.py. This is we will set our requirements, and this is the entry point. So let's say if I say main, I will have to make a function with the name main, and from that function my program will start. Let's start by importing the OS and also pandas. Google Cloud Storage, of course. Let's create some variables. So first of all, let's write the name of the bucket which we will access on Google Cloud Storage. The name of bucket is UMQ bucket. The name of the file that we have to download from there, and the name is 2020 Olympics CSV. We will download it and place it in a temporary file. Let's call it local.csv, and then we have to upload it back to the bucket. So let's call it the processed file, and let's name it my process file. All right. We also have to specify the RAM path where we will basically download and save it locally here on Google Cloud Function. So this is the RAM path of Google Cloud Function. RAM path is equals to, so you can access the RAM of Google Cloud Function using temp. This is the path basically. Format, and let's concatenate the temporary file, the name of temporary file, this one. So this is where we will store our file locally here on the Cloud Function. Okay, now let's start our Cloud Function code. So as I said, this is the main, this is the entry point. Whatever I write here should be the name of my function where my program should start. So I've written main there, so I'm gonna name my function main request. This is the HTTP request that will come. And then let's start our code. So we will begin by making a storage client. Storage.client. And then let's access the bucket is equals to storage client dot get bucket and the name of your bucket. This is the bucket name. All right. Next, we have to download or read the file. For that, let's make a blob variable. Let's call it blob equals to bucket dot blob name, and the blob name is this our file. This is our blob name. This is what we want to download from there. Blob name is the file name, and then we have to download it as a string. So download as string, and once we are downloading it, I'm gonna open the RAM path, this one here, in the writing mode, WB as F, and then F dot write that blob. So basically we will download this file. Download as string, and then with open the RAM path and open it in the write mode as F, and then F dot write the blob that we just created. So whatever we have downloaded as a string will be opened and saved to this path, which is basically this whole path, and the name of the file will obviously be local.csv, right? So we have successfully downloaded. Now let's process this file. To process, let's say, okay, to process, first of all, we have to read it from this path. Now it's downloaded here, but we have to open it in the data frame, right? So pd dot read csv, give it the path, and encoding equals to Latin 1. Now let's do some process on it, and let's say we want to keep only the data, only those rows whose gender is, let's say, female and who have won a medal. Okay, let's do that. So data gender equals to female bracket close. Sorry, which bracket is this? I have to put a bracket here because I'm gonna use a compound statement. Bracket close, and let's say who have want some medal. So data medal dot not NA. So whose gender is female and whose medal is not empty, that means they have won the medal. So it will keep only those rows. Right, once that is done, let's save this data back to the RAM, back to the file. So results data dot to CSV. Okay, I'm gonna overwrite it on the file I have downloaded because I don't need it anymore. So this resultant data, this one, will be overwritten on this file. So that's fine. If you don't want that, you can change the path, just do that. Right, okay. And x equals to false. Okay, now what we are going to do is we will upload processed file to Google Cloud Storage. Let's do that. So blob equals to bucket dot blob. Okay, here I'm making a new file, a new blob, and here I should write the name of the processed file, the name of the file that I want to be named there on the Google Cloud Storage, and which is this processed file. So this is the name that I want to be the name of the file on Google Cloud Storage, name of my file. So I'm going to write it here, processed file, and then let's upload it to that file, blob.upload. Upload from file name, sorry, upload from file name, and this is the file name because this is where I save my data here. So this should do return. If you want to return something here, or a string or something, so that you can see it in the logs and see this function has executed, if you want to do that, you can write something here if you want. Otherwise, write nothing here. So let's write done here. Okay, so this should work. I pressed Ctrl S, old habit. So this should work, and basically it will just download the file through this code, process it through this code, and then upload it back through this code. Let's run it and let's see what happens. One more thing, we have to set the requirement.txt as well. Let's set it. So we have to write all the libraries that we need to be installed or used for this. I need pandas and I need Google Cloud Storage for requirements. Okay, pandas, just write the name like this, and Google Cloud Storage. That's it. Let's deploy it to, you don't need to write OS there. You don't need it. So let's deploy it and see what happens. It may take some time, that's fine. So the function is deployed successfully. You can see this green button here as well. One thing to notice is that this is my bucket and there is no such file with the name my processed file, which we basically created, right? So let's now run the function and let's see if that file is created here automatically or not. So to run this function, we can use this test function here, or we can also run it through the URL, and let's do the URL, that's more fun. So to run it from the URL, you have to go in the function, go to trigger, and here you can see the URL, copy it to your clipboard, and open a new tab in the browser like this, paste it in the browser, and then run it. All right, so there we pass the string in the string, we pass the string done, so that's printed here. And now let's go back to the cloud storage bucket and see if that file is created or not. By the way, I've hidden this URL because I don't want to make it public. So this is my bucket, and let's refresh it. You should see the file here by now. Let's see what happens. Okay, so there you go, here, my processed file. There it is. How cool it is when your code runs. That's a new kind of happiness. Okay, see you soon. I hope that was helpful. Bye.